The protests over the Dakota Access Pipeline construction continue in advance of a judge's ruling about the future of the project. That's coming up in just a few days. The protest, though, is no smaller than it was weeks ago. Like, people are not backing down. I've heard estimates of 4,000 or more people still on site around the construction trying to stop it from proceeding. And it's actually started to get a little bit violent, although not from the protesters' side. Private security companies have moved in suspiciously, many reports saying, as police presence has evacuated the area. Suddenly the private security comes in, equipped with tear gas, with attack dogs. The police are nowhere to be found. Where'd the police go? Who knows? But anyway, we're going to have some footage from there. Our political reporter, Jordan Cheriton, has been on location at the protest, talking with some of those who've been involved in the protest. We want to show you some pictures first, though. If we could jump to these, I want to show you the pictures of these dogs. Because I'm a fan of dogs. I love dogs. Dogs should never be used in this context, though. For people exercising their constitutional rights who are just trying to have their voices heard against a company that seems to believe that if this pipeline is not completed in the next 5 minutes, the country will explode. And so you see their dogs moving in.
Yeah, so they're essentially sicking dogs on protesters who have the audacity to be a little upset about the fact that they're destroying historic land, that they're destroying burial property. So, you know, land where their loved ones have been buried has been screwed with. And so understandably, people are going to be upset. They're going to protest it. And this is not, you know, a protest over something insignificant. This is something that, you know, has victimized a lot of people. And so understandably, they should be able to practice their First Amendment rights to go out there and say what they need to say and be heard. But to respond to those protesters with this type of violence is sickening, and I know you have more details on that.
Exactly, yeah. So, I mean, they're talking about both their past, which is being disrupted, and also the future of what is going to happen to this land, what's going to happen to these communities. And so we told you that there was already the one court case. We talked about this over the past couple of weeks. There's another, actually. Over the weekend, the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe filed an emergency motion asking the court to halt construction of the pipeline. In one filing, Mentz Sr, who helped start the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe Tribal Historic Preservation Office, said bulldozers had likely dug through burial grounds with little regard and without allowing members of the tribe a chance to look for human remains, because those human remains had just the lack of foresight to be buried in an area where some rich people would like to transport oil. And again, this has been going on for months and months and months and months now. Some of the legal action has been going on for even longer than that, but the protests have been going on for months, and there's still extremely little media attention to this.
Yeah.
Even sicking attack dogs on people. We've got actual violence. Isn't that what the news always likes? You've got the blood, okay? Shouldn't it leads if it bleeds or whatever? Even then, not getting much news coverage. But in response to that emergency filing, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, which did approve the project, by the way, and has been criticized because of that, says it does not oppose the temporary halt of construction on the Dakota Access Pipeline, and specifically because of the recent violence, they say. The Corps acknowledges that the public interest would be served by preserving peace near Lake Oahe until the court can render its well-considered opinion on plaintiff's motion for preliminary injunction. The Corps, therefore, does not oppose this short and discreet temporary restraining order. And in case you don't know the background, we've sort of alluded to it. The Standing Rock Sioux Tribe, representing other tribes and nations as well, is worried that the pipeline will negatively impact water quality on its reservation and imperil cultural heritage sites.
Well, I mean, that's already starting to happen.
Exactly.
Right?
The construction has been proceeding.
So their concerns have already been confirmed, right? And it's just, look, just to touch on the topic that you brought up about the media not covering this. I mean, I think that there's a pretty clear reason for why they don't cover stories like this. I mean, you watch some of the mainstream news networks, and what you see over and over again are ads for natural gas or oil companies or coal companies. And oftentimes, they're not even really selling you anything in those ads. It's just their way to fund these networks to ensure that they don't get negative coverage, which is why there's been very little coverage of this in the mainstream media. And it's really an example of how, you know, so-called journalism has been tainted by this financial model, this financial structure. The whole point of journalism from the very beginning was to be a muckraker, right? To go after big corporations, businesses that are not doing right by the people. And right now, that's exactly what's happening, and the media is not covering it. So what's the point of being a news network if you're not going to cover the news?
Exactly. Like we said, the main court filing basically that we're awaiting the decision on, that's going to come up on September 9th. So that's Judge Borsberg is considering this right now and has said in advance of this that there appears to have been a lack of communication between the Corps of Engineers and the tribes, and the failure of the Corps of Engineers part on the Corps of Engineers part to perform the due diligence in the process and the development of this project. That's what the tribe has been saying. The judge will render his decision on September 9th, and he set September 14th as a date for appeal if either side is not happy with his decision. And by the way, I saw there's a meme going around of the corporate backers for this project, the investors in it. And it's just a list of the biggest banks, the stereotypical list. And so that's one of the reasons why the media isn't covering it. It's also one of the reasons why many politicians are just mum about it. It's interesting. It doesn't really concern them for some reason.
Private security entities are sicking dogs on people who are practicing their First Amendment rights, and there's no coverage of it. I mean, it's just injustice after injustice with this story.
You power the Young Turks. We do this all through membership. tytnetwork.com/join. Let's build the media that we can believe in.